The air was thick with dust and the scent of forgotten time. Stone walls loomed high, carved with symbols no human had seen in centuries. Each step echoed like a warning across the broken tiles. Captain Elias Ward had faced death more times than he could count. But this place felt different. Ancient, watching. He moved slowly, flashlight sweeping across pillars covered in vines and old runes that pulsed faintly in the dim light. His boots crushed brittle leaves and shards of bone. The deeper he went, the colder it became, though no breeze touched his face. He could feel it in his bones. This wasn't just an old ruin. It was something alive. A whisper brushed his ear. It wasn't wind, another human, it said. The voice was female, smooth, mocking. He froze, eyes scanning the shadows. He raised his plasma sidearm, but something told him bullets wouldn't help here. He turned a corner and entered what looked like a grand hall. A cracked stone throne sat at the far end, vines curling around its arms like they were guarding something. Suddenly, laughter echoed off the walls. "Welcome to your tomb, human." Elias spun around. No one was there. But then, from behind a pillar, she stepped out. She was tall, her skin a deep emerald green that shimmered in the light. Red hair flowed down her shoulders like fire. Her eyes glowed gold, locked onto him with amusement. Armor clung to her body like it was made for both beauty and battle. Every movement she made was graceful yet dangerous. "Who are you?" Elias asked, voice firm. "Your executioner, your host. Perhaps your test," she replied, circling him like a predator. "You stepped where no one was meant to tread. You disturbed the sleeping past." "I came here looking for survivors," Elias said. "The distress signal came from this region. There are no survivors here, only secrets, and the price for unlocking them." She raised her hand and the runes across the walls burst to life. Bright gold light rippled through the stone, filling the temple with humming energy. Elias's comms went dead. His scanner sparked and died. "You've been marked," she said. "Now you play." "Play what?" She smiled, fangs just barely visible. "The trial of the first flame." The floor shifted. Walls behind him closed in. The door he entered through vanished. Stone pressed upward, forming stairs, spikes, and strange moving tiles. He realized too late. This wasn't just a ruin. It was a game. A trap, and he was already inside it. "I don't play games," he growled. Stepping back, she tilted her head. "Then you will die quickly." But as she turned, something shimmered on the floor, a glyph under Elias's boot. It reacted to him. It glowed blue, not gold. The female alien stopped mid-step, eyes narrowing. "That's not possible," she whispered. The glyph pulsed again. Elias felt something in his chest shift like an engine waking up. "I don't know what you've done, human," she said, voice suddenly less sure. "But the temple has chosen to recognize you. That hasn't happened in 2,000 years. I didn't come to play your games, but if this place thinks I'm a player, then I'll win." She looked at him now, not as prey, but as something else. A threat, a puzzle. "Very well," she said. "Let the trial begin." Elias took a breath, feeling the ground shift again. He had no idea what rules this place followed, but something in him refused to run. If the galaxy wanted to bury him here, it would have to try harder. The game had begun. The floor trembled beneath Elias's boots as the temple sealed itself with a deep rumble. Dust rained from the high arches, and the glowing glyph under his feet faded back into stone. He looked up. The green-skinned woman hadn't moved. Her golden eyes studied him with a strange mix of curiosity and wariness. "What do you mean the temple chose me?" Elias asked, keeping his voice calm but firm. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she circled around him again, this time slower, as if seeing him with new eyes. "This place was built before your species crawled out of its gravity well," she said at last. "It tests those who enter. Most fail. Some die before the first room shifts. But you touched an ancient mark, one not meant for your kind." Elias stepped forward. "You didn't look so surprised before, but now you're stalling." "I don't stall," she snapped. "I observe." "Fine. Then observe this." Elias took a slow breath, lowered his weapon, and placed his hand on another wall rune. Nothing happened. "Interesting," she muttered. "You're not just lucky. The temple responds to something inside you. I'm not here for your riddles. Where does this trial lead?" She walked to the center of the hall. Another glyph ignited under her feet, a fiery spiral unlike the one Elias touched. The stone around them began to rearrange, folding back with grinding gears. A staircase descended into the ground. lit by a strange bluish flame. "Follow me if you want answers," she said, and without waiting, disappeared down the steps. Elias hesitated only a second before following. The staircase was long, spiraling deep underground. The further they went, the more the air changed, cooler, thicker, and humming with energy. Symbols pulsed along the walls like a heartbeat. Elias didn't understand the language, but somehow he felt it was watching him. At the bottom was a vast chamber. At its center stood a massive circular platform, with statues of alien warriors surrounding it. Each held a different weapon: sword, spear, hammer, claws. Some weren't even humanoid. The woman stood on the platform's edge. "This is the first gate," she said. "It reads your soul. It shows you what you truly are." Elias stepped forward, and the platform lit up in a spiral. Light scanned his body from head to toe. Then behind him a low rumble echoed. One of the statues, tall and wolf-like, moved. Its eyes opened, glowing with red fire. It dropped to the floor with a heavy thud. "What is that?" Elias asked, reaching for his weapon again. "Your opponent," she said simply. "If you are to pass this trial, you must defeat it." The statue creature lunged. Elias barely rolled out of the way, feeling its claws rake through the dust where he stood. Its stone body was faster than it had any right to be. "Do you expect me to fight a rock?" Elias shouted. "Not just rock," she said. "The temple breathes life into memory." Elias fired twice. Plasma shots bounced off the creature's stone chest with sparks, no damage. He ducked another swipe and grabbed a nearby shard of broken blade from one of the fallen statues. It vibrated strangely in his hand. As the beast lunged again, Elias dodged left and drove the shard into its leg joint. A cracking sound split the air. The creature stumbled. "Good," the woman said. "Use the temple's weapons. They were made for the trial." Elias ducked again, then slid between the creature's legs and shoved the shard upward into its neck. With a flash of light and a howl of stone, the beast froze, then shattered into pieces. Breathing hard, Elias stood. The woman smiled faintly. "Not bad." For a human, he didn't answer. He looked at the other statues. "How many more?" "Enough," she said. "But only the worthy reach the end." "And what's at the end?" Elias asked. Her eyes gleamed. "Truth, power, or death." Elias clenched his fists. He wasn't just playing the temple's game anymore. Now he wanted to know why it chose him, and he intended to find out. The shattered remains of the stone beast still glowed faintly behind Elias as he followed the alien woman through a narrow passage that opened after the battle. The walls here were tighter, curved like a ribcage, as if the temple itself was alive and breathing. Every footstep echoed, and the deeper they walked, the more the air began to hum again, low and steady like a pulse. "What do you call this place?" Elias asked finally. "The heart of Ulandar," she replied without turning. "Built by a race lost to time. It was never meant to be found by your kind. Yet here I am," he said. She looked back at him, her face unreadable. "Yes, and the temple let you in. Which makes you a threat, or something worse." They reached a circular chamber lit by soft violet fire, hovering in floating orbs. At the center stood a massive mirror made of black crystal, surrounded by 6 archways, each leading into darkness. Strange symbols circled the mirror like rings of light. She stopped in front of it. "This is the trial of reflection," she said. "It doesn't test your strength. It tests your past." The mirror flickered. Images swirled inside, blurred, broken, then sharpening. Elias stepped closer, and what he saw made his breath catch. His old squad. His commander. The battlefield where they all fell. "No one else knows about that mission," he said quietly. "The temple does," she said. "It sees all. You must face what you ran from." "I didn't run," Elias growled. "Then prove it." The mirror flashed, and a shadow stepped out. It looked like him, but younger, cleaner, in full combat armor. The version of him before the war changed everything. Elias raised his weapon. The reflection didn't move. "What is this supposed to be?" he asked. "The part of you still chained by guilt," she said. The reflection lifted its arm. A beam of light formed in its hand, a weapon Elias had once carried but abandoned after the battle that killed his team. The reflection spoke. "You could have saved them," it said. "That's not true," Elias snapped. "You hesitated. I followed orders." The reflection charged. Elias fired instinctively, but the energy passed through. It was solid only when it wanted to be. He dodged, rolled, and reached for one of the strange temple blades on the wall. As soon as he touched it, the weapon adapted to his grip, glowing faint blue again. like the glyph from earlier. He clashed with his reflection. Every strike brought back a memory. Every parry opened an old wound. His mind blurred with flashes of shouting, of blood, of standing alone on a smoking field. At last, with a cry, Elias disarmed the reflection and drove the blade into its chest. The figure faded like smoke and the mirror went still. He stood there, breathing hard. Behind him, the alien woman looked impressed. "You faced it," she said. "Few do." "I've carried that weight for years," he said. "Maybe now I can leave it behind," she nodded. "You've earned the right to continue. But what comes next will not be about your past. It will be about your choices." Elias stepped forward. "So what now?" She motioned to the 6 archways. "One path leads forward. The rest are death." He looked at them. Each was identical, no signs. "No clues. Is this a trick?" "No, it's a lesson. You must trust something other than your eyes." Elias stared at the paths. Then he knelt, closed his eyes, and listened. The temple hummed, but only one archway pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. He stood and walked toward it. She smiled faintly. "You're learning." The stone shifted as he stepped through. The air changed again, hot, sharp, like something ancient had awakened further. He didn't know what waited in the next chamber. But now, he was no longer just a trespasser. The temple had begun to recognize him. The heat hit him like a wave. The air in the new chamber shimmered with dry warmth like the inside of a forge. Elias scanned the walls, no symbols this time, no runes or glyphs. Just rough stone marked by long claw-like scratches and deep scorch marks. Something had fought here before. Something powerful. The alien woman stepped in behind him, her eyes sharper now, focused. "This is the chamber of the bound flame," she said. "It is not a place of trial. It is a place of warning." "What kind of warning?" Elias asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she pointed ahead. At the far end of the chamber stood a pedestal. Floating above it, spinning slowly, was a metal sphere. It pulsed with red energy, cracking with fire just beneath its surface. Chains of molten light held it in place, humming with tension. "The heart of the temple's defense system," she said. "If awakened, it destroys everything within reach. It was built to guard the final passage." Elias narrowed his eyes. "And we have to pass through it?" "No, but the temple will test your presence against it. If it doesn't accept you, it will awaken the flame." The ground rumbled. The sphere pulsed brighter, as if sensing them. "I've had enough of puzzles," Elias muttered. He stepped forward slowly. The heat grew worse with every step. The air sparked with static, and the sound of a distant heartbeat echoed around him. His boots left glowing footprints on the floor. Suddenly, the chain snapped. The sphere dropped with a loud crack into a socket in the ground. A wave of flame burst from its core, forming a burning wall between Elias and the exit. "It's rejecting you," the alien woman said. "Not for long," Elias growled. He sprinted to the side, rolling behind a curved stone wall just before the fire lashed out. The flames weren't random. They moved like they were alive, hunting, judging. He ducked from cover to cover, trying to read the pulse pattern. "Think," he whispered to himself. "This place is alive, it reacts. What did I do last time?" He reached for the same shard blade he used earlier. As he lifted it, the blade began to glow. Not blue, but white. The fire hesitated. The alien woman stepped forward slowly, watching. "You carry something old inside you," she said. "That blade isn't from your world. The temple responds to it." Elias stared at the weapon. "I found it in a wreck 3 years ago. Didn't think much of it." "You were carrying the key the whole time," she said. "It's part of the Ulandar legacy. Blood calls to blood." Another blast of flame slammed into the floor beside him. Elias tightened his grip on the blade. "Then let's see if this key opens the door." He raised the blade high and stepped directly into the fire. The flames curled back like they were bowing. The heat vanished. Silence fell. The alien woman looked at him with wide eyes now, no longer amused. "You command it." Elias walked across the fire-formed floor like it was solid stone. The blade still glowed. As he reached the pedestal, the sphere rose again, but now calm. The chains reattached gently and the red light dimmed. The path beyond opened. Smooth stone doors slid aside, revealing a glowing corridor unlike anything before. Polished metal, humming lights, advanced tech hidden deep within ancient stone. "I thought this was a temple," Elias said. "It is," she answered, stepping beside him, "but also a vault. A prison, a test bed. It holds more than relics. It holds what your kind was never meant to see. Elias didn't stop walking. Well, it's a little late for that. She followed him, but this time her steps were slower. Her expression no longer held that same arrogance. For the first time, Elias noticed something new in her eyes. Not confidence, concern. The corridor ahead was not stone like the rest of the temple. It was metal, clean, smooth, untouched by time. Pale blue light ran along the edges of the walls, and strange machines rested inside alcoves. Some looked like weapons. Others looked like they were sleeping. Elias moved carefully, blade still in hand. The humming in the walls now felt familiar, almost like the pulse of the glyphs from earlier. It wasn't just power. It was language, some kind of living code running through the structure. Behind him, the green-skinned woman walked silently, but Elias could tell her thoughts were no longer mocking. She wasn't in control anymore. You didn't expect this, Elias said, not turning. No, she admitted. This part was sealed even to my kind. I believed it to be myth. The story passed down from the old bloodlines. What kind of story? She paused, then spoke slowly. A machine was built here. Not just a weapon, but a judge. It was made to decide which races would be allowed to survive, and which would be burned away. Elias turned, eyes narrowing. That's what's buried here? She nodded. They called it the Vault Core. It was said to be the last creation of the Ulandar before they vanished. Vanished or destroyed? Elias asked. She didn't answer. They reached a large circular room. The floor here was made of dark glass, and beneath it swirled patterns of light, stars, planets moving like a map. In the center stood a single chair, facing a vast, transparent screen. Floating in front of it were small orbs of light, blinking like silent watchers. As soon as Elias stepped onto the glass, the lights froze. Then the screen activated. Data poured across it, words, symbols, images. Some were familiar. Others were strange, alien, terrifying. One image stopped him cold. It was Earth. A red line crossed over it. Elias stepped closer. The screen reacted. A voice, calm, mechanical female, filled the room. Human genetic signature detected. Matching with artifact registry. Bloodline authorization accepted. Welcome, keyholder. The alien woman's head snapped toward Elias. Bloodline? What does that mean? Elias stared at the screen, trying to understand. My father. He disappeared when I was a kid. Everyone said he was just lost in space. But what if he found this place first? The machine voice continued. Vault status dormant. Destruction protocols offline. Observation mode active. Awaiting keyholder command. Elias backed up. This thing can destroy planets? Yes, the alien woman whispered. Entire civilizations if judged unworthy. Elias looked around the room. The chair in the center wasn't just a seat. It was a control throne. Whoever sat in it could command whatever the Vault Core was holding back. The voice spoke again. Do you wish to activate final judgment? Elias didn't answer. He looked at the woman beside him. Why was this built? To prevent chaos, she said. To stop the spread of races who devour everything, who can't be trusted to evolve with balance. Who decides that? Elias asked. Machines? She didn't reply. Elias stepped toward the chair but didn't sit. What happens if I say no? The voice replied. Then the vault remains silent. The galaxy remains unjudged. He clenched his fists. And if I say yes? Judgment begins. He looked at the stars under the glass. So many worlds. So many people. This isn't a trial anymore, he said. This is a test of who I choose to be. You were chosen for a reason, the alien woman said. But only you can choose what happens next. Elias turned away from the chair. He wasn't ready to answer, not yet, but something told him. Someone or something already knew his choice, and it was coming. The screen dimmed and the soft hum in the room quieted. Elias stepped back from the control chair, his mind racing. He had just been offered a power that could end entire worlds, and something deep inside him recoiled at the idea of holding that kind of control. He wasn't a ruler. He wasn't a god. He was just a soldier trying to understand why he had been chosen. The alien woman walked slowly around the chair, studying the glowing panels. There are others, she said. Other vaults like this one, built on other forgotten worlds. How many? Elias asked. I don't know. No one does. The Ulandar erased their own records before they vanished. Maybe they feared what they had created. He nodded slowly, trying to make sense of it. Why was this one still active? Because the galaxy still moves, still grows. The vault watches for change, for chaos. It waits for a trigger. Just then the screen flashed red. The ground beneath them shook. A loud metallic chime echoed through the chamber. External breach detected, the voice said. Unauthorized entry. Energy signature non-human. Hostile pattern confirmed. Elias looked at the woman. Friends of yours? No, she said quickly. Nothing alive should have known how to enter this place. Lights flickered along the outer hallway. Heavy footsteps echoed closer. The entrance chamber, once silent, now glowed with motion, machines waking up. Defensive drones unfolded from the walls, floating forward with soft whirs. Then out of the hallway, 3 massive figures appeared. They were tall, armored in thick black plating with strange, curved helmets and glowing red eyes. Their weapons weren't firearms, but long rods crackling with energy. They moved like they belonged there, confident, unafraid. Elias stepped forward, blade in hand. Who are they? The woman's voice was tight. Vault scavengers. War cults. Some believe these places are full of divine power. They worship destruction, and they kill anyone who stands in their way. This lead figure raised its weapon and pointed at Elias. Its voice was filtered and cold. You are not worthy to touch the flame. Core. Step away or be erased. Elias didn't move. I'm not interested in playing God. Then die like a man, the figure replied without warning. The scavenger charged. Elias met him head on, ducking under the first swing and driving his blade upward. The weapon sliced through armor, but only barely. Sparks flew. The machine man howled and slammed Elias into the wall. The alien woman moved quickly, her fingers glowing with energy. She unleashed a burst of light that knocked 2 of the attackers back. Elias rolled to his feet and stabbed again, this time hitting a weak joint behind the shoulder plate. 1 enemy dropped. The other 2 surrounded them. We can't win this fight here, she said. Then where? She pointed toward the wall. The vault has a transport system, emergency exit tunnels. But you must activate them from the chair. Elias cursed and ran for the throne, dodging a blast of heat from the scavenger's weapon. The screen responded as he slammed his hand down. Command accepted. Escape sequence initiated. Core containment sealed. A panel opened behind the throne, revealing a dark tunnel with a faint blue glow. Go, she shouted, covering him with another energy burst. Elias sprinted into the passage and she followed. The moment they entered, the wall slammed shut behind them. They ran in silence for a while. Deeper underground, the light shifting from blue to gold. At last, the tunnel opened into a quiet chamber, smaller, older. No machines, just stone. Carvings lined the walls, showing strange figures handing fire to different species. It's a story, Elias said, breathing hard. They weren't just builders. They were judges, but also givers, she nodded. They gave the flame to those they believed could carry it. Elias looked at his glowing blade. Maybe he had been given something after all. But why? And what did the vault still expect of him? The chamber was quiet but not dead. The air carried the faint scent of old metal and something else, something Elias couldn't name. The carvings on the walls glowed gently now, reacting to his presence. Lines of fire lit up across the floor in slow pulses like a heartbeat. It wasn't threatening. It felt like an invitation. The alien woman studied the carvings, running her hand across one of the etched figures. These are not just records. They're memories. Memories of what? Elias asked. She turned, her eyes glowing softly. Of those who were chosen. Across time. Across stars. Each one given the flame, tested, watched. Elias stepped closer to the wall. One carving showed a human-like figure holding a blade that burned with fire. Surrounding him were creatures, some bowing, some dying, others watching from the shadows. Above all, a single eye. Who watches? He asked. The core, she said, and the one who was left behind to guard it. Elias frowned. I thought you were the guardian. I was born into a bloodline that served the vault, she said, but I was never meant to see its heart. That role was given to another, one who was changed. A low vibration passed through the floor. They found another path, she said quietly. The scavengers are adapting. Then we need to move, Elias said. She shook her head. No, this room is safe for now, and if you truly want to know why the vault chose you, then you must see the Hall of Origin. The wall behind the largest carving opened with a hiss. A narrow tunnel stretched ahead, filled with golden light. Elias followed her without speaking. They walked for several minutes, deeper than he thought the temple could go. The passage twisted and curved like a spiral, then suddenly opened into a wide dome of crystalline light, the Hall of Origin. Above them, constellations drifted in holographic form. In the center of the room stood a raised platform, and on it a single figure, tall, motionless, wrapped in metallic armor that shimmered like liquid gold. Its eyes were closed. Its chest slowly rose and fell. It wasn't dead, it was sleeping. Elias froze. "What is that?" "The last guardian of the flame," she said. "He was once like you, human, chosen." Elias stared at the armored figure. "That's impossible. He came long ago, before your species had spaceflight. The Vault chose him first, but he chose wrong. He judged without mercy. He burned a world without cause, and so the core silenced him." The Guardian stirred, its eyes opened, glowing blue. "You are the next candidate," it said, its voice deep and ancient. "I didn't ask to be chosen," Elias said. "No one does," the Guardian replied. "The flame chooses on its own. It sees what you can become. What happens now? You must prove your vision is stronger than mine was, or I will end your trial myself." Elias stepped forward. "I'm not here to take power. I'm here because a signal brought me. I followed it, and now I'm standing in a place built by ghosts." "You are standing in your own reflection," the Guardian said. "Everything here is designed to test what you truly believe." The alien woman didn't speak. She stood back, watching silently. Elias looked up at the constellations. "So many stars, so many lives, then test me," he said. "But don't expect me to play the same game." The Guardian smiled faintly. "Good, because this time the galaxy will fight back." Suddenly, the lights above changed. The stars showed fleets, warships, fire. Destruction. A new force had entered the galaxy, and the Vault had begun its final countdown. The stars above swirled, rearranging into a pattern Elias had never seen. Planetary systems blinked into view, then vanished in flame. Whole sectors collapsed beneath waves of red light. But these weren't past events. They were projections, warnings. The Guardian watched in silence. His armored form remained still, but Elias could feel the tension in the room grow heavier with each passing second. "What is this?" Elias asked. "The future," the Guardian said, "or one of many possible futures. The Vault has detected a convergence, an incoming force older than the Ulandar, unbound by the rules of this galaxy." Elias stepped closer to the platform. "You're saying something worse is coming?" "Yes," the Guardian replied. "Something that consumes stars, minds, civilizations. It does not judge. It only ends." The alien woman's voice was low. "I thought the flame was the most powerful force." The Guardian turned toward her. "The flame was built to protect balance, but it is not limitless. When this enemy arrives, balance will no longer matter." Elias stared up at the map. One sector blinked, and he recognized the pattern. It was near Earth. His jaw tightened. "Why did the Vault call me here now?" "Because you carry something old in your blood," the Guardian said. "Something not even you understand. Your father activated the signal. He came here, and failed. But the Vault did not erase his line. It watched, it waited, until you were ready." Elias looked down at the blade still clipped to his belt. It pulsed faintly, like it knew the conversation happening around it. The Guardian continued. "There are two paths forward. You can take the flame core and use it to awaken the Vault's full defense. You will become its commander, its weapon, its final voice." Elias raised an eyebrow. "And the other path?" "You leave. You return to your people. Let them face what comes alone." The alien woman stepped forward. "If he leaves, we all fall. This force, it will not stop at one world." Elias didn't answer immediately. He stepped toward the center of the room, looking at the constellations once more. He thought of Earth, its oceans, skies, and the people who had no idea what was coming. "I don't want to become a weapon," he said. "You already are," the Guardian said. "The moment you entered this place, you became part of something greater. You were chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are human." Elias turned. "And what does that mean to a Vault full of ancient machines?" The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "It means you're flawed, emotional, unpredictable, but it also means you're capable of doing what logic cannot." Elias looked at the control platform. Everything in him screamed to walk away. He hadn't trained for this. He was a soldier, not a savior, but he had seen too much now. There was no turning back. He placed his hand on the console. The flame core responded. Lines of gold fire lit up across the chamber. The map above changed again. A wave of golden light pushed against the red, hope against destruction. Command recognized, the vault said. Keyholder accepted. Defense protocol unlocked. The Guardian stepped back. Then it begins. What begins? Elias asked. The countdown, the Guardian said. You have 7 days. Then the enemy arrives at the edge of the galaxy. Elias turned to the alien woman. You said you were born into a bloodline that served the vault. That's still true? She nodded. Until death, and then help me. We're going to need every advantage this place has. The walls rumbled. Doors opened. Chambers that had been locked for centuries hissed to life. The war hadn't started yet, but the vault was waking, and Elias was no longer just a visitor. He was the last hope of a burning galaxy. The vault shook as energy surged through its ancient veins. Gold and blue light raced through the hallways, waking systems that had been silent for ages. Chambers unsealed. Machines stirred. Above them, the star map reformed, now pulsing with symbols that Elias couldn't understand, yet somehow felt familiar. He stood before the central command platform, the alien woman at his side. The Guardian remained motionless, watching but not interfering. His duty was done. The flame had chosen. Elias turned toward the systems that had opened across the chamber. Weapons, archives, armor, strange devices floated in place, humming with dormant power. How long do we have? Elias asked. The alien woman replied, 6 days. Maybe less if the enemy moves faster than expected. Then we use everything this place has, Elias said. Weapons, defenses, ships, if there are any left. She pointed toward the east corridor. Come. There's a hangar. They moved quickly through the glowing halls. The vault was shifting, physically growing. Doors that weren't there before now opened to new paths. It wasn't just a structure anymore. It was evolving with Elias. They entered a massive chamber lined with strange crafts. Most were damaged. Some were missing parts, but one still sat untouched, smooth, black, sleek, as if waiting for someone. Elias approached it. The ship's surface lit up under his hand. Recognition confirmed, a voice said from the hull. Pilot approved. Flame path unlocked. The alien woman stared in disbelief. These vessels were bound to the Guardians. They won't respond to anyone but you. Elias stepped into the cockpit. It was tight but alive with controls. The entire ship pulsed like it had a heartbeat. He sat down and the ship adjusted to him instantly. Status report, he said. Systems at 78%, the ship replied. Primary weapons online. Shields functional. Hyperdrive charged. Awaiting command. Outside, the vault trembled again. Elias stepped out and turned to the woman. We don't have an army, but maybe we don't need one. She raised an eyebrow. You plan to face what's coming alone? No, he said. I'll need help. The vault has records, messages. Find anyone out there with Ulandar blood. Anyone the flame might still respond to. I'll begin the search, she said. But the line is thin. The bloodlines have nearly died out. Then we train new ones, Elias said. We teach others to carry the flame, even if they weren't born to it. She paused. That's never been done. Then we do what's never been done. As she moved to access the vault's communication systems, Elias returned to the control room. The Guardian waited. You have 6 days, the Guardian said. That is not enough time. Then I'll make it enough, Elias replied. The Guardian studied him. You carry hope? But hope is not a weapon. No, Elias said, but it makes us dangerous. He opened a channel across the vault's ancient systems. A pulse echoed into space beyond the stars. A message sent in every direction. To any who can hear this, Elias said. This is Elias Ward. The vault of Ulandar has awakened. A force older than history is coming, and we don't have much time. If you can fight, come. If you can build, come. If you've ever lost something to darkness, come. The signal went out. The vault waited, and far beyond the edge of known space, something stirred. A shape, a shadow, a cold hunger moving slowly but without pause. It had destroyed countless galaxies before. It had no face, no voice, only purpose. And now it had felt the flame reawaken. Back in the vault, Elias placed his hand over the glowing star map. You want to test humanity? He said quietly. Then you'd better be ready for the answer. The vault's skies turned red. Far above the temple's surface, the stars flickered, then vanished. A shadow had arrived. Not a fleet. Not ships. A wave of darkness stretching across light years. It devoured all signals. It swallowed gravity. The galaxy's final test had begun. Inside the vault, Elias stood before the command platform. He had spent the last 6 days training, preparing, learning. He had mastered the flame systems faster than any record. The vault responded to him like no one before, but now there was no more time. The alien woman returned from the far halls, her expression hard. The distress signal reached 37 systems, she said. 4 have responded. Fighters, veterans, broken fleets. They're coming, but most don't believe it yet. They will, Elias said. When they see what's coming. She handed him a small device. This contains the flame's last design, a shield frequency that disrupts the enemy's flow. It only works for a short time, but it may be enough to open a path. Elias nodded. Then we aim for the heart. The ground rumbled again. From the surface, the first of the enemy scouts had broken through the atmosphere. Not metal, not flesh. They moved like liquid shadows, slithering and flying at the same time. They were not alive. They were hunger given form. The Guardian appeared beside them, armor glowing faintly. This is what I failed to stop. I judged a world instead of warning it. My mistake erased millions. Elias looked at him. Then stand with me now. Let that be your redemption. The Guardian gave a slow nod. Then we burned together. Moments later, Elias stepped into the flame pathfighter. The ship hummed beneath him, alive and alert. As the hangar walls opened, the sky beyond lit with flickers of strange movement. The swarm had arrived. All units, Elias said over the wideband channel. You don't need to understand the vault, just trust it. Trust me. Hold the line, buy me time, and I'll strike where it matters. Copy, Commander. Voices replied. Some human, some alien. A fragile alliance. But it was all they had. The flame path shot into the sky. It flew faster than any ship Elias had ever known. The stars warped around him and the enemy came into view. Towering masses of living machines and dissolving matter, reshaping constantly as they moved. They had no face, no signals, just presence. He activated the vault's pulse beacon. The core blade in his ship lit up and fired a golden burst that cleared a hole through the swarm. The path opened. Behind him, small ships followed. Fighters, freighters, salvaged cruisers. But they were holding. For now, Elias pushed forward. At the center of the enemy swarm, something massive pulsed, a brain, a heart, or a gate. He couldn't tell. But the flame reacted. The ship's AI screamed, now, Elias muttered. Let them see us. He channeled the vault's full charge through the flame path and fired the core weapon into the swarm's center. The light cut through space. For a second, everything went white. Silence. Then a roar. The shadow twisted violently. Its outer arms recoiled. The center split open, revealing raw energy inside. Not a machine, not an army, a wound. Elias dove in. The flame path broke through into the center of the enemy mind. He saw memories, lost galaxies, a silence that devoured all things. And then he did what no Guardian had done. He lit the core from inside. The flame exploded outward. From the vault, the alien woman watched the sky blaze gold. The swarm recoiled, fled, screamed, and then vanished. The stars returned. Silence fell again. But this time, it was peace. Elias didn't return. But the vault stayed open. The galaxy remembered, and somewhere, across the stars, a new flame flickered into life, waiting for the next who dared to enter the temple. And listen to the voice that once laughed, "Welcome to your tomb, human.